So what does a creator do when they don't really have any ideas? The industry's kind of stale. What kind of video do you make at this point in time? Maybe something with numbers that start with 1 and go to 9. We're doing a list video, but let's have fun with it. So this is a video I actually kind of wanted to make. I think it's kind of fun to talk about, but a little serious at the same time. And I want to talk about, and I have 9. Once again, list video. I got to have a number there. Some of the most overhyped things in photography, in the industry, stuff that goes on YouTube, etc. So stuff that is overhyped or overrated. I got 9 things. There's plenty more. We can have a discussion in the comments below. So I like the video because why not? And then we'll talk about it. So speaking about liking a video, let's start off with probably one of the most overhyped things that a lot of people talk about, and you know, whatever. It's full frame versus crop sensor and the big push for humongous megapixels, 24, 48, 100,000 megapixels. I think at this point in 2021, crop sensor, full frame, it's personal preference, but the whole push, everyone's got to be full frame. You got to be full frame to be a professional is absolute garbo. It's gobbledygook, and it's not true. There are a ton of professionals out there who also shoot crop sensor, and they do fine. There's benefits to both. We're not getting into that. But that is probably one of the most overhyped things, is the push for humongous megapixels, in which you don't need. I had a D700, which didn't have 20, 24 megapixels. It barely had a pixel at that point. But you could print a billboard out of that. Just look up how megapixels work in pixels, and you'll see that being said. So probably one of the most overhyped things, shoot with what you want. Fuji doesn't even make a full frame camera. They are very successful with selling crop sensors. It doesn't matter. Number 2, bokeh, the overuse of prime lenses and always shooting wide open. Holy, this is probably right up there with megapixels and sensor stuff. It's the overuse of bokeh. Shoot wide open for everything. And I think I proved that. Now, the video was mainly understood for the most part, but there's some people who were against it when I said, you know, why I don't shoot, you know, why I shoot f4 always or something like that. There's a little bit of an exaggeration, but when I used to do weddings and stuff, I never really shot wide. I don't shoot wide open a lot. You don't need to. That's the big point with all of this. You don't need to always shoot wide open. In fact, you're prone to miss something shooting wide open because your focal plane is muy pequeño. I think that's pretty damn small in photography speak. Prime lenses, you can get zoom lenses that have zoom compression to mimic what a prime lens can do, 1.4, 1.8, f2, etc. There are so many ways to educate yourself on how to do that. You don't need to spend a ton of money to get bokeh and stuff like that, but I definitely think bokeh, overhypeness, whatever, even though I did buy a Sigma 16mm f1.4 just to get a little bit out of focus here, but we're not going to talk about that. Number 3, camera reviews, specifically ones that don't even show them really using the camera or having images. Now, in the past, I've definitely fallen victim to that, but you learn that it becomes BS over time, that if you're not really showing your work, you're not really showing anything. It's not really authentic, and they're just words. Just watch who you're watching. Put it that way. Oh, one of the most overhyped things is just BS. Camera reviews, I've seen them abundantly. I mean, whatever. Once again, there's a difference between review and a preview. Preview is a cool discussion video. I like to do a lot of those, but it's why you haven't seen me do a lot of reviews lately, because I don't have the gear. And guess what? I'm not going to talk about something I don't know about. I don't know why I have this channel. I think we don't even need to go into an explanation for my number 4 point on here. Drones and B-roll, the Peter McKinnon style. Drones, 2021, dead. I don't care what anyone says. They're absolutely boring. They were great for like a year, and then everything's kind of boring at this point. And the overuse of slow B-roll, slow motion, just because Peter McKinnon did it a couple years ago, everything you're trying to do, just you moving across the screen in slow motion, is boring. Stop it. And this goes towards the creator side a little bit, but editing hacks, tips and tricks that are hacks, any of this hack stuff, I think people making the videos like myself are hacks. There are no hacks. There are no tips and tricks. It's called learning what a healing brush does or what the cloning tool does. And learn the program. There are no hacks. There's no cheat codes in life. Unless when you were a kid, you had a Game Shark on the PlayStation 2, and you could get that gun you weren't supposed to have online. Was not me, though. Number 6, and this is definitely going to ruffle some feathers, but I don't care because we're in 2021. Film being pure. Film is pure, but so is knowing what you're doing and your intentions in doing so. Film is fun. It's great, but it shouldn't be gate-kept just because, you know, I'm taking a stand against digital or anything in 2021 or anything like that. Film is fun. It's definitely an art that I think any photographer should learn. They should really learn how to develop film, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, if you're a hobbyist, you don't really have to, but if you're really serious about the art, it gives you an appreciation. But the fact that there's these like kind of elitist attitudes towards like digital shooters and like, I shoot film, I think is absolutely ridiculous. And I think the obsession over film, even though once again, it's great. I shoot with some film. It's overhyped. It's definitely overrated. It's way better to shoot digitally, in my opinion. But like I said, it's fun. I know I'm going to catch crap for it, but I mean, I live in a realistic world. I'm going to kind of branch off of that. I'm going to move that 8 to number 7 here. And it's fanboyism. So we're going to talk about that. Once again, if you take offense to this, you're probably an uber fanboy about something and you need to take a step back in life there and kind of develop your mentality a bit more. But fanboyism, hate towards other brands and people who use certain things, and hate because something is way too expensive. You know, my Nikon is only $1,500 or my Sony isn't $5,000 like a Leica. Guess what? The person buying a Leica camera for $5,000, $6,000 doesn't care what you think. And guess what? Even someone buying the $800 Nikon over your $1,400 Fuji also doesn't care what you think. Fanboyism in this industry, in this genre, in this niche, in this online social community is absolutely boring. You're a very boring person. Have fun. It's art. Stop being so gatekeepy and enjoy life. And for number 8 here, I've said this one in the past, and I still believe it true to this day. You see a lot of it everywhere, not even just on YouTube and stuff like that. Natural light photography. Meaning, I don't want to learn flash. I don't want to learn the skill of using flash. It's good to know how to adapt in shooting in low light, natural light, bouncing, reflecting, whatever, but learn flash, because if you could bring a flash out in public where the natural light is and work with it, you might create something. Lastly but not leastly, I think this ties into some of what we had in here, but vlogging. 2021, vlogging is kind of boring at this point, but it's really kind of what goes into it. But I don't want to target creators per se, because I think it's cool you can still create, vlog, etc. But I want to target the camera companies a bit more. Camera companies, lens makers, all this kind of stuff, and the targeting vloggers. You're not targeting vloggers anymore. The vlogging market, since Casey and everything, is basically, it's non-existent. The hype for it isn't there. Once again, it's cool. If you follow someone, you can follow their life, and, you know, IRL stuff, absolutely fun. Plus, things are about live streaming now. You know, why am I making a YouTube video? But targeting vloggers, I mean, it's kind of a lazy kind of Sony thing is doing right now with a lot of their stuff recently, is like, we're targeting vlogging. It's 2021. No one cares. Make a camera someone is excited about. None of these companies are doing it. Nikon, Mr. Mark, on the DF2, when they had the ZFC or whatever the hell it's called, they missed out on creating something that could have been a lot of fun. And I'm sure it's going to be a good camera, but they missed the mark. It's not a DF2. It's its own smaller type camera. Any of that being said, though, man, we need some fun in the industry. We need something so it doesn't feel stale. And, you know, a couple of my friends who also create content, I mean, feel the same way. It's pretty boring. Well, thanks if you stuck through this video. I just wanted to create a fun little list here. But I definitely think there's some important points on this and stuff we can improve on as an industry in itself. And I gave you 9 overhyped, overrated things. There are definitely more. I want to know yours down below. Once again, sorry if I offended some of you people by you being on here. But once again, if you got offended by this, you probably need to go outside. Unlike me, I don't go outside, but you probably need to see a little bit of sunlight and, I don't know, enjoy some chicken parm or something. Get some joy in your life. Let me know more things down below. Gabagool.